question number one, what changes can expect with the move to ZATCA E-invoicing? How does it affect business? So that's a question being asked.
I would like to explain the gap analysis exercise that we do. So, as we were talking previously in this session, there is 80% data and 20% data that needs to be generated. So, as far as the data is concerned, there is new data depending on the integration, depending on the business. If the ERP is not configured properly, we need to do some minor adjustments to capture new data. For example, I would say most of the cases, buyer VAT number or the customer's VAT number or customer's tax details are not being properly captured by the businesses. So we have come across certain cases. So this, with the gap analysis that we do, we provide consultative support to businesses to do some minor changes to get more data or get data that's mandatory for ZATCA E-invoicing. This is one of the major changes. Apart from this, on a functional level, I would say there would not be any much change for the person who is generating invoices.
Very interesting question that has come, and what it kind of precisely addresses is how complex is this integration? If at all we want to integrate with our internal system to the compliance portal. Okay, so audience, you might need to understand the whole system in a 3-layer approach. Okay, the most important layer is the Futura portal, which is where the government authorities, they validate the invoice. The second layer is the compliance portal, where we kind of prepare the invoices in such a way that it is acceptable for the Futura portal in line with the ZATCA compliance. The most important is the layer 3, which is your internal system, where you actually produce the invoice. Okay, now we are only talking the integration between your in-house ERP system or the system that generates invoice. How does that get integrated with the compliance portal? That's a question. So you might want to take this in 2 different angles, Hari. I would prefer you answering this on both, the automated way and a manual way. If you can address them, that will be great, because we have done it in multiple ways, so we can deliberate this. It's worth spending some time on this topic, actually, because this is exactly what they're going to see, right, when we deliver it. So take this point, Hari.
Yeah, definitely. So I will explain in detail the integration possibilities. As you were mentioning, there are 2 types on a high level. One is the automated integration, and the second one is the manual integration, or I would say a manual process. So firstly, let's talk about the automated integration possibility. So there are multiple different synchronous integration models that we have. So one such is the API integration, and then we have SFTP integration, and then we have direct DB level integration, and then we have scheduled listener integrations. So in all these 3 to 4 cases, the integration is going to be automated. When I say automated, it's right from invoice generation, the point where invoice reaches that and gets back to the actual ERP, the complete process will be automated. I would say it is running on the background. So whenever there is from an accountant perspective, who's let's imagine I'm an accountant, I'm creating an invoice. What I would see is with the phase 2, I would just see a new QR code coming in. Rest all is automated in the background. Even with the logs that's coming from the XML data from ZATCA, all these are posted in the background in the database. Only when there is scope for audit, it's going to jump into picture. And the second possibility, the manual integration. So manual integration, or I would say manual uploading of invoices in this aspect. So here, invoices, we do have a portal with the import option where businesses who are generating very less number of invoices, who think the integration is complex and not feasible, they can opt for uploading of invoices. Like say they're generating 1 or 2 invoices in a few in weeks, so they can upload invoices to ZATCA portal manually, and then the rest is taken care of.
what kind of training is required? That's the way it is being asked by the audience. How many days of training is required? How long does it take for the people within the organization to understand the new system? Is there a training component available for the employees, and how will the day-to-day work that's going to get affected once the integration is over? So you can take it away from both the perspectives, because when you are doing it in an automated way, there is a way, certain fashion you are doing it. If you're doing it in a manual way, there is a fashion you are doing it. And just one more point I want to add before you take this question. Usually it takes 2 to 4 weeks for implementation of ZATCA. Best case is always 2 weeks. We usually have done most of the work in 2 weeks. But there are cases where, it gets extended for 4 weeks as well. So that's the perspective in terms of the time frame I want to tell you. Hari, please take it away from a change management perspective, how it works on the, working style of people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So as you were mentioning, like when since this ZATCA is in very new regulation that's coming in, so definitely there is a huge work for change management. So as I was touching the ERP part, where there is need to add more data layers, or I would say data fields that needs to be captured. That is one point where the data management, the change management is going to start coming into picture. And then post the go live, as we were speaking about the training part. So there is definitely going to be a training module both for the finance team and the IT team. So the finance team would be engaged on a week of training where they will be trained on the best practices and the mandatory practices that they need to follow with the new regulation. And then with the IT perspective, there are going to be since the integration is going to be in place, there is a lot of background processes that needs to be taken care of, and especially the change management is going to have more impact when it is a manual integration model. When it is an automated integration model, change management is going to have relatively less work when compared to the manual one.